Introducing GForceTV. GForceTV.net is your new source for action overload. Featuring free live programming year-round and countless hours of on-demand video, GForceTV will be your first stop whenever you want to see the latest and hottest racing action. See live Friday Night Excitement weekly from Washougal Speedway, and watch the stars of tomorrow make a name for themselves during Thursday night's live microsprint racing. GForceTV is also the new home for Rivals Race Chat. Watch weekly as Clinton Jeffrey and Adam Ross discuss all the hot topics in the world of motorsports. For iRacing fans, GForceTV has you covered with hours of live broadcasting from Rivals and GForceTV racing leagues. GForceTV promises to deliver motorsports, esports, and action sports you want to see, along with talk shows and vlogs to keep you connected to the lifestyle you love. Visit GForceTV.net today to subscribe for free. Sit back, hold on, and feel the G's on GForceTV.
And good evening, everybody. We welcome you to some Monday Night Madness in the GeForce Racing Leagues. Tonight, it is the A&J Custom Creations Renegades 360 Sprint Car Series on center stage right here on GeForce TV. And we stay in Pennsylvania for the second consecutive week of action. Tonight, we head to the Williams Grove Speedway for week number 5 of the Renegades season. Good evening, everybody. I'm Sean Niestead. We welcome you to the Gambler Motorsports pre-race show. With me tonight, Scotty DeYoung. And Scotty, we are looking forward to another great show here. We're fresh off a red-hot event at the Lernerville Speedway tonight. Very different track as we head over here to Williams Grove.
Very, very different indeed, Sean. Long straightaways and tight sweeping corners. So definitely a change of pace or realities, I guess you would call it. But going to be another great night of racing here tonight.
It is certainly set to be so, and we will have a bit of an extended Gambler Motorsports pre-race show as the Rebels are just finishing up their race over, here at Williams Grove as well. And so they've got to finish their show before we can officially roll into the racing action here. So some extended practice and an extended Gambler Motorsports pre-race show for your enjoyment here this evening. Gambler Motorsports is an esports racing team that competes across the iRacing platform. The team has drivers entered in dirt races, sports cars, paved oval, and even endurance races. This year, they'll have drivers in the prestigious 24 Hours of Daytona. You know, that's not too far away anymore. And Le Mans as well. go over to Gambler Motorsports on Facebook. Give them a follow. We thank Gambler Motorsports for bringing our pre-race show to us each and every Monday night with the Renegades. Before we go further into the Gambler Motorsports pre-race show, Scotty, let's take a look at the Need Speed Motorsports points update. And of course, we'll talk about Need Speed Motorsports and Need Speed NSM photos coming up a little bit later tonight. But your Need Speed Motorsports points update has a very familiar name atop the point standings still.
Yes, it does. Kyle Moonen still your points leader after 4 races, and Steven Goldner sitting in that second spot. Great race last week for these guys. And will we see a different points leader? Who knows? We got 317 points for point leader Kyle Moonen and 286 for runner-up at the moment, Steven Goldner.
Yeah, just 7 points behind Goldner. That's Sean Bowers in the third spot. Now, between those 3 drivers, Kyle Moonen, Steven Goldner, and Sean Bowers, they have our 4 feature wins thus far this season with the A&J Custom Creations Renegades. Moonen with 2. Bowers had the season opener at Limaland. Of course, Moonen's wins coming at Knoxville and Lanier. Last week, it was Steven Goldner kind of stealing the show, and he put his car into victory lane and shot himself up to number 2 in the point standings. Lane Snook still sits 4th in the point standings, the Keystone State go-kart champion out there. We'll see him tonight in the 123 machine. Jack Clevenger sits in position number 5. Your second 5 in the Renegades point standings include Jonathan Short in 6th, Ross Carenta in 7th, Jesse Bandy moves up to 8th after last week's performance, Max Langevin is 9th, and Jeff Fitzpatrick into the top 10. He's the pilot of the number 90 machine, and he was your NSM Photos Driver of the Week here last week. We've got a new Driver of the Week to introduce you to coming up later on in tonight's show. Gambler Motorsports bringing you this pre-race show. That was your Need Speed Motorsports points update. This isn't a track we're as familiar with, Scotty, but your first impressions, you already talked about those tight corners here at Williams Grove. So you're the former racer here. You've been behind the wheel of race cars. If you had to race something like this in our part of the country, the old Jackson Speedway, the old half-mile Jackson, kind of reminds me of this. You've got a straightaway where you can order a hot dog and eat that hot dog, and the time it takes to get about halfway down the front straightaway, you'll have that hot dog finished, and then you can finish it up, have a Coke, have some fries, and then you'll finally reach the corner. So as a driver, when you're talking about these big long straightaways like we have here at Williams Grove, and then you've got to really get into that corner, what's going through your mind as you're getting ready to go through the gauntlet here?
Honestly, Sean, I really don't know how to answer that, as I've never raced a half mile before, but I would say, your setup with just a tight corner is you can almost throw these cars in as hard as you can, and right as you're throwing it seems like you're accelerating right back out. So it might come down to setup and gearing and whatnot, but yeah, that's monster half mile here. It looks like is definitely going to be fun, maybe hard to navigate through the corners a little bit, but I think we'll have a good show tonight, though.
I agree. I think we are going to see some great racing. We know the talent level with the GeForce Racing Leagues is right up there, as high as it gets, and so pretty excited about that. As we've got practice, looks like on pause. Looks like they're having their drivers meeting right now as we continue in our Gambler Motorsports pre-race show. I don't want folks who are tuning in right now to go, "Oh, half mile. I really like the race at Lanier or Limaland on the little racetracks," and think, "Oh, half mile," because this track here, when you're thinking of a half mile, you might be thinking, well, that's easier, right? But this racetrack is so difficult because the straightaways, if this thing slicks off, as you see the aerial of this racetrack, you see exactly what we're talking about. Those giant straightaways and then the tight corners, kind of like if you're on a 3/8 mile or even a big quarter type mile. That's what these corners remind drivers of in real life and here in iRacing. But it's not easy getting into these corners. You've got that guardrail on the bottom, and of course you got the wall on the top. And let me tell you, it gets tight down there on the bottom of the racetrack when you go sneaking into the bottom of turn 1 or turn 3. So that'll be something to watch here tonight. You think that hole is there, and you're going to shoot the bottom, and you're going to try and get that position on the driver you're racing with, and it closes up, and you either have to say you're sorry to the guy you've run into, or your left front is going to be severely damaged from that guardrail getting in the corner. That's my impression here at Williams Grove, and it's a difficult track, far more difficult than you think of with the normal half mile, Scotty.
Well, and like we saw with Lernerville last week, no wall around the speedway from turn 1 all the way to the exit of 4. So definitely going to be a little bit different here tonight with the wall. And like you said, just the long straightaways, more like a paperclip track, I guess, as you would call it, with the long straights and the very tight sweeping corners.
And that's one of the things you've got to think about too, as well as you mentioned it, the gearing. If you're going to run the top, you've got to have enough gear to get through that corner, but you can't have so much gear here that your car won't come off the bottom, and you can't be sluggish to get off the bottom of the corners here.
Right.
So that's something to factor in as well as we race on this racetrack. And I can also tell you from experience, in iRacing and as it is in real life, if this track slicks off through the course of our show, these straightaways, and you're thinking, oh, he's going to talk about it's hard to get down a straightaway. Yeah, it is. These straightaways here at Williams Grove, if they turn slick, if this thing gets really dry, the straightaways are almost impossible to run down when it gets slick with the horsepower of these Renegades 360 sprint cars. I'm not saying it's going to get that dry. I'm not saying it's going to get that slick, but there's the potential. And if that happens, look out. It's really going to become a egg under the right foot situation here for these drivers to really have to control the throttle.
Have to be really finesse on that pedal, like you were just saying, Sean. And we're seeing a couple cars out there for practice right now. And these straights, they, like you said, it's a journey to go down them, and then just to navigate these tight corners as we see cars sliding way up past the cushion and almost into the wall. The drivers are going to really have to be on their A game tonight.
Absolutely. I'm watching Steven Fernberg make his way around the racetrack in the 29 machine, and yeah, this is one of the tracks when you look at the schedule and you just have to think this is going to be a night I have to get through, because things happen so quickly here. You're carrying so much speed into the corner, and then you've got to make decisions, and it happens so fast on these little corners. So will we see some calamity tonight, Scotty? My answer to that is, unfortunately, absolutely.
Time will only tell.
You sound like you've got more hope on that than I do. I just know from my experience on this racetrack, I don't know if I've ever put together 30 clean laps around Williams Grove Speedway. And I know these drivers are far more talented than I am, but it is very difficult to get around this racetrack. And you know what? They've got to get around it in a hurry right now. We roll into Vanderbilt Racing qualifications here tonight for the A&J Custom Creations Renegades here live on GForceTV. Vanderbilt Racing is a proud supporter of GeForce Racing's leagues. Headquartered in Rochester, Minnesota, Vanderbilt puts a focus on fun and friendly competition as cars make their way onto the speedway 2 laps against the clock at Vanderbilt Racing qualifications. Quick timer gets the honors here tonight, the points, and well, they'll have a pretty good starting position as well. Cars just beginning to file in and start to put the first laps into the books on Vanderbilt qualifications. And Keith Jackson going to the top of the charts initially, a 17:31 for his best lap, as Vanderbilt qualifications well underway now, Scotty.
That they are, and looks like Ross, the 5 car, jumping up to the quick time right now. Donovan Ross in the 5, your quick time. Stephen Goldner up to the 2nd position, and Lane Snook now quick time for the 123. Boy, these guys are just pumping out quick lap times. Top position is changing left and right, Sean.
Scotty Edwards goes to the top. Now Corey Kusler to the top. A 17:269 for the 126 driver is now quick time. Scotty Edwards sits number 2. Sean Bowers just checked in at number 3 at a 17:276. That bumps Lane Snook back to 4th. And Donovan Ross, who we've seen have so much success this year in the Rebels Series, he has the number 5 car sitting in position number 5 at a 17:287. So times coming in fast and furious here in Vanderbilt Racing qualifications. It's still Corey Kusler out front in the 126. A 17:269 is the mark to beat. See, Kyle Moonen is on the racetrack right now in the 24. Looks like he's getting his car up to speed, and his time will go in at quick time, 17:253. Kyle Moonen, dramatic late run here in Vanderbilt qualifications, goes to the top of the chart. Good run there for the T&D Interiors number 24 of Kyle Moonen. That bumps Kusler back to second. Edwards, Bowers, and Snook, the top 5 at the moment. A couple more cars. Looks like they've got opportunity. Yeah, I believe that does it. Looks like everyone has their 2 laps into the books. So Kyle Moonen, that 24 machine, Scotty, we saw him rip off 2 consecutive feature wins. That 24 car looks strong here to start the night.
And definitely consistent. I believe he was also the quick timer last week, if I'm not mistaken. So point leader, top of the leaderboard here in quick time, and we'll see how he can do here in the heat race.
We will have to see here coming up. And speaking of heat races, let's get right down to it. 8 laps will be the distance on our heat races this evening. 4 transfer directly to the A main, if I got my math right. And heat race number 1 brought to us by A&J Custom Creations. A&J Custom Creations, specializing in laser engraving and CNC machining. A&J Custom Creations puts its craftsmanship to work in every wood trophy and plaque that they produce. A&J provides trophies and plaques to every GeForce Racing League division champion. Contact Andy Patton to order your custom creation from A&J Custom Creations, a proud supporter of the GeForce Racing Leagues. Let's get set to go here, Scotty. Heat race number 1 is already pushing off onto the Williams Grove Speedway here for the A&J Custom Creations Renegades.
It's going to be Jesse Bandy in the 57 to the inside on the pole, and in the 161, Max Langevin to the outside.
Second row, he's in his home state tonight. It's Lane Snook in the 123. Your quick timer, the Vanderbilt number 24 of Kyle Moonen. He'll line up outside of the second row.
Jack Clevenger in the 78 to the inside of row 3, and Terry Landis in the 661 to the outside.
And your final starter from position number 7. That'll be John Short. He drives car number 51 out of Indiana. So it looks like 7 cars lined up for our first heat race tonight. Again, A&J Custom Creations bringing you heat race number 1 here tonight for the A&J Custom Creations Renegades. So looking forward to this, Scotty. This is a racetrack that it can be so tough to get around this speedway. So I am really, really curious to see how these Renegades drivers can handle this difficult surface that they will see here tonight.
Well, and from what we've seen in past races, though, Sean, these drivers are always up for a good challenge. So I think these guys are ready to dive into this head first and produce some great racing.
I like it. I hope it. I believe we will do that. We know that the talent level is there to see this. So we're just moments away from rolling the field here for our A&J Custom Creations heat race number 1. Of course, big half mile. These caution laps will take a little bit of time, but last opportunity for these drivers to really take a look at the racetrack. Racing surface new after qualifying. And so this is their last chance to take a look at it. We're going to see some lightning fast speeds right out of the gate when we see that green flag a little over a lap from now.
And you already see some cars going up to the top side, seeing where the moisture's at up there, and if they can run that line, if it's going to be fast or not, even before the green flag drops.
Yeah, maybe doing a little wheel packing up there as well, as everything counts just like it does in the real world. If you're rolling around the racetrack at the real racetracks and you want to pack down the cushion on the top side, yeah, it counts. And so every wheel pass is calculated into the iRacing sim. So yeah, somebody like Max Langevin or Kyle Moonen starting on the outside rows there, they've got to think about that as they make their way around. Terry Landis, member out there, he's familiar with these racetracks, driving that 661, the Price-looking machine. See him outside that third row. I know he's familiar with Williams Grove Speedway as well. Jesse Bandy on the pole out of Minnesota. So a lot of different areas represented here in our opening heat race. Again, A&J Custom Creations brings us the Renegades. It's Monday Night Madness. This is going to be a maddening night for many of these drivers. It's time for the green. Heat race number 1 for the Renegades is underway.
As looks like a slow start. There it goes. Bandy takes off now. We are underway. Bandy's going to lead him through the middle side of turn 1 and 2 with the early race lead. Langevin and Snook running 2 and 3. Kyle Moonen and Clevenger, your current top 5 coming into turn 3, Sean.
Kyle Moonen's going to have to run that top line in that 24 machine. He will make it work thus far. They nearly get 3 wide down the front straightaway. It is a tight, narrow straightaway here as well. We haven't talked about that yet. Here comes Moonen still holding on to the 4th spot, but Clevenger coming after him and Lane Snook. Snook right now on the bubble. He's back to the 4th spot. He's got the final ticket to the A-main as Bandy pulls away.
Top 4 transfer. Lane Snook been consistent through since day 1 here for the Renegades. He's currently in that 4th and final transfer spot. Bandy, like you said, Sean, starting to walk away in car 57. Langevin and Moonen running 2 and 3.
Still a chance for Clevenger to get up there. Jack Clevenger driving the number 78 machine. Trails Lane Snook by 0.3 of a second as they hit turn number 1. 4.5 laps to go on this one. Jesse Bandy looking very strong, though. The fastest car on the racetrack has been Kyle Moonen, a 17:39 for his fast lap. So we'll have to see if he can get some clean air and maybe reel down your race leader. But he's got Max Langevin just in front of him.
Hold of the tail tank that time by. Now coming down the backstretch into turn number 3. Moonen working the middle of the track. Lane Snook putting some space between him and Clevenger. So some insurance as we have 3 laps to go. Bandy still out with the race lead. Here comes Kyle Moonen to the inside of Langevin.
Moonen may have a look down here. When we get to turn number 3, can Langevin close the door? He is able to. So off of turn number 4 they come. Bandy, Langevin, Moonen, and Snook still in the transfer spot. We've got 2 laps to go as we go on to the nose of the number 24 of Kyle Moonen. You see the tail tank of the 61 of Max Langevin right in front of him.
To the inside now, pulling to the tail tank. Oh, possible contact as Langevin shuts the door on Bandy coming to the line. White flag is out one more time around Williams Grove.
It might get close for this final transfer spot as Jack Clevenger has chased down Lane Snook. Still a good battle for second as well. Final set of turns of the A&J Custom Creations heat race. It's Jesse Bandy picking up the win. We've got trouble in turn number 4. Langevin goes second, Clevenger third, Kyle Moonen fourth. And then Lane Snook out of a transfer. Terry Landis will finish in 6th. Things really shook up there in the final corner. So the A&J Custom Creations heat race goes official into the books, and we'll turn our attention now to the Makoni Setup Shop. Heat race number 2. 8 laps is the distance. Another 4 competitors get a ticket to tonight's A-main. At the Makoni Setup Shop, it may be their setups, but they're your victories. Makoni's commitment to providing a high-quality setup at an affordable price has remained since the first day of business, and it still drives the company to this day. Makoni Setup Shop builds a personal relationship with each and every customer, and they've got an open door policy for when it comes to communication. So if you have a setup from the Makoni Setup Shop and you think your car needs to be just tweaked a little bit just for your specifications, they'll gladly talk to you about it and make those adjustments and work through them with you. That's the Makoni Setup Shop bringing you heat race number 2 of the A&J Custom Creations Renegades here tonight. And Scotty, this one will have Brennan Lacey on the pole position and the number 414 machine. Preston Cranmer, the 07, starting outside of him in row 1.
Donovan Ross is going to be to the inside of row 2 in car number 5. To his outside, Corey Kussler in car 126.
Third row is where Andy Patton lines up on the inside. Some home cooking for these drivers in the third row as well, both out of Pennsylvania. Patton in car number 87. Steven Fernberg on the outside of the third row, starting 6th in car number 29.
And starting shotgun on the field in the 7th place position is going to be the 014 of J. Boydell. Boy, that's a tough one to say.
It can be. It can trip you up. Looks like potentially Donovan Ross electing to start at the tail of this Makoni Setup Shop heat race number 2 here tonight. So the drivers got some wins this season in the Rebel Series. We'll start 7th on the grid, so that'll shuffle them around just a little bit. Nonetheless, we're ready for that green flag off of turn number 4. Andy Patton, that number 87 machine inside the second row. Corey Kussler next to him. Kussler, second quick time here tonight in Bandy built qualifications. We'll have to see if he can convert that into a direct ticket into tonight's A-main. Of course, the top 4 inverted in their times for each heat race here tonight. Ready for that green flag. They will wait for the green from the flag stand before they drop the right feet, whatever it is. They're on the floor. Here we go, Scotty. Down into turn number 1. They hustle in heat 2.
Side by side for the race lead for a split second is going to be Lacey out to the race lead. Cranmer in second. As said, Donovan Ross in third, but he is still at the back of the pack, battling with, I believe, GJ Boydell out in front, though. It's 4:14. Brennan Lacey with the race lead.
Lacey looking strong. We're side by side for second. Cranmer was on the top. Kusler got a look to his inside, was not able to capitalize for that 4th spot right now. Here comes the 29 of Steven Fernberg, the chrome car, shining in the lights, and the driver trying to shine his way into the A main. Can't get there yet. Andy Patton was able to motor off of turn number 4. Here comes Fernberg back to the inside, but Patton strong on the cushion down the back straightaway, still in the final transfer spot.
Had 3 wide for a split second. They're almost 4 wide now through the corner. Oh, contact made as we are on board with Patton. Oh, car upside down on the front section. Almost out of the park. Caution laps do not take factor here in heat races, so we are still going to be lean, mean, and green.
Andy Patton was only about the height of a space shuttle there on that crash down the front straightaway. He'll have to come back in a consolation here tonight. Right now, it's Brendan Lacey, Corey Kusler, Preston Cranmer, and Donovan Ross from the back into the final transfer spot in the 5 ride. They'll make their way off of turn number 4 down by the flag stand. We've got 4 laps to go in the McConey Setup Shop Heat Race number 2.
Cars starting to single file themselves around the raceway now. The 07 of Cranmer trying to get her on, shuffles way up high, almost gets into the wall. Down the backstretch into turn number 3. Lacey still with the race lead. Hustler in second as we are going to look at the off the push bar here. Looking back to Cranmer in third. A little bit of space in between the 126 and 07 as they come through the corner and down the backstretch.
Good run from Donovan Ross here tonight. Had to start last in this heat race. He is up into that final transfer spot in the 5 machine, and he's got about half a second if he can reel in Preston Cranmer, but he'd have to do that in a hurry because the white flag is flying over the field. Brennan Lacey, the 414, got it on the floor and looking for more as he heads into the final turn. He'll come off of turn number 4, and Brennan Lacey is going to get the win in heat race number 1. Corey Kusler second, Preston Cranmer third, Donovan Ross 4th. They go directly to the A main. GJ Boydell 5th, and Steven Fernberg 6th. Andy Patton will get 7th credited to him after his ride to the moon down the front straightaway. Heat race number 3 ready to roll onto the racetrack. That, of course, is your Howard Hanna Real Estate Heat Race number 3 for the A&J Custom Creations Renegades. Howard Hanna Real Estate Services is the number 1 family-owned and operated independent broker across the United States. And Scott Hurwitt at Howard Hanna Real Estate has been a multi-million-dollar commercial and residential real estate agent for many years. Of course, Scott Hurwitt has the ability to help anyone find an experienced professional realtor anywhere across the country, and he'll make sure they have the experience and the knowledge to ask the right questions and get the best house for the right price. That's his specialty. Scott Hurwitt at Howard Hanna Real Estate bringing us heat race number 3. I love realtors that are racing fans, and I like Scott Hurwitt even more because he's an iRacer. He participates in the events here with the Rebel Series, which wrapped up here a little bit ago. So we'll get set now for that Howard Hanna Real Estate Heat Race number 3. Scotty, let's take a look at that grid here at Williams Grove.
Starting on the pole is going to be the 69 car of Aiden Young. To the outside, the 010 of Ross Cornetta.
Second row, that's Stephen Goldner, last week's A-Main winner, currently number 2 in the point standings. He drives the number 30 ride. The 215, that's Scotty Edwards. He starts outside row number 2.
It's going to be Jeff Fitzpatrick starting inside of row 3 in the 90 car, and to his outside, the 45 of Matt Ramsey.
Dan McLaren out of Canada will be your 7th and final starter here in the Howard Hanna Real Estate Heat Race number 3 for the A&J Custom Creations Renegades on this Monday Night Madness. As you're watching right now on YouTube, make sure to give the GForceTV esports page a like and a follow, so you'll know every time the events go live here on GForceTV esports, and you can follow along. Of course, they've got racing events almost every night of the week across the GeForce Racing League's platform. Nearly 20 different leagues, from everything from these sprint cars to modifieds, big blocks, late models. They've even got some road racing. and pavement racing. They've got something for everybody. You can look them up on Facebook, GeForce Racing Leagues. Look them up online, GForceRL.com. And of course, all broadcast right here on GeForce Esports. And again, give us a like here on this YouTube page where you watch in its streaming goodness. Love all the different leagues of the GeForce Racing League. So many options, so much talent, so many great people. As we are set for this third heat race here tonight, Scotty, looks like they're about ready for that green when they make it off of turn 4.
That they are coming off of turn 4. Slower starts on these half miles, but it looked like the green is out and they're going to race their way into turn number 1. Aiden Young diving to the bottom as it's going to be the 010 up top. Top Shelf Racing as they thunder into turn number 3.
Ross Carenta in that 10 ride all over Aiden Young as they got to turn number 3. Now Carenta will look to the bottom off of 4, cannot make it happen. Steven Goldner picked up the win last week. He runs in position number 3. And right now, Scotty Edwards, the 215, he's got the final transfer spot right now in his hands. Jeff Fitzpatrick, Dan McLaren would love to come forward and rip it out and take that ticket to the A main.
That they are as cars single file themselves around the raceway now. Goldner sitting in that 3rd place spot. A little bit of insurance going to that A feature tonight as you see the top line start to come into the track now, Sean, as they come into turn number 3 once again.
This is when this track gets comfortable to drive on. You've got a nice cushion. It's not right there on the wall as we go on board. 3rd place running Steven Goldner. It's not as scary and treacherous to get around this racetrack right now in this current state, but we know it's going to continue to work that cushion higher, and it's going to get slicker right now. Oh, there, Ross Carenta into the turn 4 wall, the 10 ride. He's now in danger of losing a position. Goldner going to capitalize. Slider over there in turn number 2 for 2nd place.
So removed by Carenta as he's going to pull side by side back with Goldner now into turn number 3. Slide job coming. No, he's going to stick to the bottom side of the racetrack. Still side by side for position number 2.
Does Carenta have the run he needs down here for the slider? Yes is the answer to that, but Goldner, perfection, dips back to his inside. In fact, here comes Scotty Edwards. Edwards to the bottom of turn number 3 of the routine racing car. Slipping up the racetrack, can't get their good run off the corner. Ross Carenta runs in 3rd, Edwards in 4th with 2 laps to go, and all of that is allowing the 90 of Jeff Fitzpatrick, who's 1 spot out of a transfer, to reel in the top 4.
3rd, Edwards trying to run him down, trying to get to the left rear tire as they come off of 4 down the front stretch. 1 lap to go here around Williams Grove.
It's all Aiden Young, the 69 machine, in control of this heat race. Brought to us by Howard Hanna Real Estate since the drop of the green flag. Young going to navigate turn 3, turn 4, and down the front straightaway. The 69 picks up the win. Steven Goldner 2nd, Ross Carenta 3rd, and Scotty Edwards will get the final transfer spot. Jeff Fitzpatrick was 5th, and Dan McLaren finished in 6th from our Howard Hanna Real Estate heat race number 3. Schultz Heating and Cooling will bring us our 4th heat race here tonight for the A&J Custom Creations Renegade Series. Schultz Heating and Cooling, they're the HVAC experts in Plattsburgh, New York. If you need a routine maintenance check or an emergency repair or heating on your heating or cooling unit, the Schultz Heating and Cooling technicians are available to handle all of your heating, cooling, and ventilation needs. You can always give them a call at 585-330-4992. That's Schultz Heating and Cooling of Plattsburgh, New York. Thought I was going to have to give them a call here a little bit ago. I had some weird noises coming from my furnace, but, you know.
I'd hate to see that, Bill.
Yeah, that'd be a long drive for them here, but they're great people if you're out there in New York. Heat race number 4 on the racetrack, and it's got Ludovic Buisson on the pole position in the 72 machine, and Matthew Croakey next to him. He pilots the number 2.
Side of row number 2 is going to be Keith Jackson in the 13, and to his outside, the 03 of Sean Bowers.
The number 20 of Blake Chapman starts in position number 5, and next to him in row number 3, the 558, that is Brian Moore Sr.
And starting shotgun on the field, the 767 of Chase Hess.
That is the grid. Heat race number 4, Schultz Heating and Cooling, bringing it to us for these A&J Custom Creations Renegades. Of course, Scotty, we'll be back in action, you and I, calling all of the laps this coming Thursday night, 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central, for the Epsilon Sprint Wraps Big Block Modifieds. This week, they're live here from the Williams Grove Speedway as well. Boy, we've been watching some great racing on Thursday night with those big blocks.
Yeah, Thursday Night Thunder, always a good night to tune in. Almost caution-free this past Thursday. One caution and such great talent behind the wheel of those modifieds.
Looking forward to seeing those cars here at Williams Grove. Looking forward to the rest of the night here with the 360 Sprint cars. As heat race number 4 ready to come to the green. Barney on the flag stand will wave that green flag, and we are underway, hustling down into turn number 1. It's Buisson from the inside of the front row. He'll slide up in front of Croaky. Buisson with your lead. They're side by side, 3rd and 4th. Sean Bowers, who's got the opening win of the season. To his credit, he runs in 3rd. Keith Jackson right now in position number 4.
Shot to the shorts from Jackson. Bowers off turn number 3 that time by. Out in front, though, Ludovic Buisson and Croaky lead the way. Single file around the raceway into turn 3.
Let's go on board the 03 of Sean Bowers, looking back at Keith Jackson, who is in that final transfer spot as you hustle down the front straightaway. Back to turn number 1. Blake Chapman back there in the 5th spot. Brian Moore Sr. in 6th. Chase Hess currently running in 7th, but it is all Ludovic Buisson. As he gets into the wall, Croaky gets into him. We've got carnage over here in turn number 4. This is really going to shake things up in this heat race. Oh my, that changes everything. Sean Bowers to the lead. Chapman, who was out of it, transfers up to 2nd. Brian Moore Sr. and Chase Hess, they run 3rd and 4th. Oh, that was a birthday gift to those drivers as they now hold transfer spots to the A main with 4 laps to go.
Like you said, carnage can happen and only time will tell. Well, the time is up, and Sean Bowers capitalizing on that as he's got the race lead. The Skittles car, the 20 of Blake Chapman, running in that 2nd place position. Moore and Hess running in transfer spots with just 3 laps to go now.
You know, I want to bring up a point here. Keith Jackson running in 5th. He knows he's probably not going to transfer, but instead of pulling in, he's going to continue on and make sure he gets this 5th spot. He was tangled up in that incident, absolutely not of his own doing. But because of the starting positions in the Constellation, you want to finish as best you can, so you can't just hang your head and say, we'll take it to the trailer. You want to continue on, and, you know, weird things do happen sometimes. But right now, it's Sean Bowers. He's got this one well in control. Blake Chapman trying to chase him in as they work off turn number 4, and they'll come down to the white flag final lap of heat race number 4 is underway.
Coming into turn 1, Bowers up top as we go on board with Chapman working the inside of the racetrack. Down the backstretch they go into turn 3 for the final time. Sean Bowers running through the middle. He's going to take the checkered flag. Chapman in 2nd, Moore in 3rd, and Hess taking home that 4th and final transfer spot.
Keith Jackson will get the 5th position. Matthew Croaky, Ludovic Buisson, 6th and 7th. It'll be interesting to watch where those drivers, how far they can get forward. In fact, Buisson was able to get back out on the track to make sure he got 6th in front of Croaky. So be interesting to watch Matthew Croaky, just how far he can bring that number 2 car out of Constellation action here tonight. And, of course, every position you can gain in the Constellation tonight is going to be a better starting spot in tonight's A main. Speaking of Constellation action, it is the Velocity Race Design B main. That is next up on the docket. If you're looking for a new race design, look no further than Velocity Race Designs for a fresh new look on your favorite dirt car. Whether it's a hot new design for your real car or a retro throwback of your hero for the sim, Velocity Race Design will have you covered. Race on over to Velocity Race Design on Facebook and order yourself a custom paint scheme from Velocity today. B main action up next from Velocity Race Designs, and here's that starting lineup with Lane Snook on the pole position. The 123 GJ Boydell will join him on the opening row. He drives the number 14.
Jeff Fitzpatrick is going to push off from your 3rd place spot in the 90 car, and to the outside, Keith Jackson in the 13.
We'll find Terry Landis inside the 3rd row. That's the 661 with Steven Fernberg next to him in car number 29.
Dan McLaren in the 89 will start to the inside of row 4 with Ludovic Buisson in the 72 to his outside.
John Short drives the number 51 machine. He'll start 9th in tonight's B main out of Indiana. Andy Patton lining up outside the 5th row in car number 87.
Your 6th and final row is going to see Matt Ramsey in the 45 to the inside, and to the outside, the number 2 of Matthew Croaky.
Distance on this one is 10 times around the speedway. The top 8 transfer on to tonight's A&J Custom Creations A feature event for these A&J Custom Creations Renegades. So 8 transfer, 10 laps is the distance.
Yeah, like we said with this racetrack here, Sean, tonight, it's a tight race in the corners, but long straights. It's produced some great racing, but also make sure, you know, to hit your marks as we see that cushion way almost up against the wall in the corners here. So some drivers finding some tough luck and now having to come to the consolation feature.
It is so easy on these long straightaways to carry too much speed into the corners to hold a line, and it bites you so quickly here at Williams Grove. If you can get around this racetrack in a hurry, and I think this track is one of the reasons why so many of those Pennsylvania posse drivers can go anywhere in the country and in the world for that matter and be so successful, because this is one of the most technical dirt tracks you're going to find anywhere in the world. This is absolutely a technical track, a driver's track. If you can be fast here, you can do about anything behind the wheel of one of these race cars.
That it can, as it's going to be the pace truck dropping them off, about to go green off turn number 4, Sean.
So your Velocity Race Design B main is underway 10 times around Williams Grove. 8 transfer, the other go to the trailer. Battle for the lead right out of the gate. Jeff Fitzpatrick was on the inside, but Lane Snook sneaking around his right and taking the lead. They'll all thunder down into turn number 3. Fitzpatrick sliding up the racetrack. He'll hold the middle line. Lane Snook holds the cushion and brings them, putting 1 lap in the books, 9 to go. Snook is your leader.
At 3 wide, coming off turn number 4 there. Snook around the outside, coming to call down the backstretch now. Fitzpatrick being shuffled back to that 3rd place spot. Landis in the 661, and look at who's in 4th. Your 4th place running is Keith in the 13 car, as we're side by side for the race lead, Sean.
Oh, look at this. The 661 of Landis got loose down there in turn number 1. He slips back to the 5th spot. John Short now up to 4th. He started 9th on the field, so that 51 machine, stout in this Velocity Race Design B main. Let's take a look at the transfer spots. It's Snook, Jackson, Fitzpatrick, Short, Landis, Buisson into a transfer. And then Matthew Croakey, we talked about his trouble in that heat. He's up to 7th. Andy Patton, the 87 machine, has the final transfer spot at this moment.
As they come down the front stretch now, we're going to come back into turn number 1. We're looking at the 2-car Croakey right now with the 72 of Buisson. Buisson way up the track, right on the cushion now down the backstretch into turn number 3. Still out with a race lead now. Keith Jackson has taken the race lead in car 13.
So some change up front. Lane Snook now runs in the 2nd spot. We saw Keith Jackson looking very good in his heat race before that trouble set in with that number 13 machine. So he's advanced 3 spots in this Velocity Race Design B main. He leads it. Lane Snook in 2nd. Jeff Fitzpatrick holding his own right there in 3rd. And John Short from 9th up to 4th. We've got 4 laps to go in the B.
Look at Lane Snook going to the bottom in 1 and 2 and the top side in 3 and 4. As we're going to go on board with Fitzpatrick. Lane Snook changing his line in 3 and 4 now as he goes to the bottom to try to catch the tail take of Keith Jackson right in front of him. Fitzpatrick sitting in 3rd. Fitzpatrick up on the high side through the middle right now as Lane Snook, as Jackson shut the door on him, coming now into turn number 3.
That allowed Fitzpatrick to get a run to the outside of Snook. They'll come off of turn number 4. Fitzpatrick not quite able to get to the outside of Snook at the exit of that corner. They settle in down to turn number 1. Here comes the 51 of John Short to the inside of Fitzpatrick. Couldn't get there. We've got a lap and a half to go. Ludovic Buisson is up to 5th. Matthew Croakey is up to the 6th position. So they're trying to right their ship on their night that could have sunk much, much earlier in heat race action. White flag is out. Final lap for Keith Jackson to lead this B main.
Final lap, but they're still battling for track position. Fitzpatrick trying to dive underneath a Lane Snook now. A crossover, move back to the top side. Here it comes to 3 and 4. Snook, it gets contact with Jackson. Here comes Fitzpatrick on the top side, and it's going to be Fitzpatrick taking home the consolation. Snook coming in 2nd, and Jackson getting shuffled back to that 3rd place spot. Wow, what a finish.
I did not see that coming. I didn't think it would get that aggressive at the finish of a Velocity Race Design B main, but hey, when the seas part, you got to take that position, and that's exactly what those drivers did. Look at your unofficial rundown of tonight's Velocity Race Design B main. Fitzpatrick, your winner. Snook in second. Keith Jackson was third. John Short, fourth. Ludovic Buisson, fifth. Matthew Croakey was sixth. Terry Landis, seventh. And Matt Ramsey, the final transfer. Patton, McLaren, Boydell, and Fernberg will take them to the trailer. All of tonight's preliminary action is complete for the A&J Custom Creations Renegade Series. Your main event is just around the corner. Before we get to that, we welcome you into our Icon Sim Sports pre-main break. Icon Sim Sports aims to bring the sim racing community a one-of-a-kind fixed chassis experience that is certainly like none other. They also exemplify extraordinary customer service. Each chassis and accessory is made to order here in the U.S. No two Icon Sim Sports sim racing chassis are alike. Each of them personalized with your own fit, color, and graphics. You'll have a sim racing rig that is one of a kind when you order from Icon Sim Sports. Stay tuned. You'll learn more about Icon Sim Sports, and after the break, we'll introduce you to this week's NSM Photos Driver of the Week, and we'll roll into that A&J Custom Creations main event live here from the Williams Grove Speedway. You're watching the Renegades on GeForce TV.
At McConey Setup Shop, we offer custom-built setups for any asphalt oval car. Prices starting at just $5. Weekly setups available for all Legends, late models, modifieds, and NASCAR trucks, Xfinity, and Cup cars. Do you need one-on-one driver coaching? We've got you covered. Visit www.McConeySetupShop.com and find yourself in Victory Lane. McConey Setup Shop, handling all your setup needs so you don't have to.
We welcome you back to Williams Grove Speedway here on GeForce TV and GeForce Esports for the GeForce Racing League's A&J Custom Creations Renegades for some Monday Night Madness. Your A&J Custom Creations main event is right around the corner. First, we want to take a moment to introduce you to this week's NSM Photos Driver of the Week. NSM Photos is the newest division of Need Speed Motorsports. NSM Photos able to provide professional-looking photos in both 1080p as well as stunning 4K resolution. In addition to those pictures, NSM Photos also offers hero cards as another awesome way to show off your car, your team, and you. Great gift for sponsors. Check out NSM Photos on Facebook and at needspeedmotorsports.com. This week, NSM Photos Driver of the Week is Lance Ripka, the driver out of Laverne, Minnesota, known as Ripper. He's your Week 5 GeForce Racing League Driver of the Week. He started 21st in last week's Midget feature event and passed 15 cars to get up to the 6th spot. Nathan Aldrich, this week's honorable mention, who gained 15 positions in the Sportsman division. He charged from 23rd to finish 8th. So congratulations to Lance Ripka, your NSM Photos Driver of the Week. Just about a minute away before they start to push the cars onto the racetrack here tonight for this main event, Scotty. And of course, we've got a lot on the line, all the points and the positions. Of course, you've got your 2W's Plumbing Hard Charger Award up for grabs in tonight's A main.
That we do in 2W's Plumbing, located in Naples, New York. 2W's Plumbing is a full-service company specializing in all aspects of plumbing, general contracting, and water treatment for commercial, residential, and multi-family housing. Contact Chris today at 585-749-9478. That's 2W's Plumber Hard Charger, brought to you by 2W's Plumbing.
Of course, we'll also have your Malcolm Mills replays in this A main. They're based in Oakland, Ontario, Canada. Malcolm Mills Mill Writing, a full-service mill writing contractor featuring custom welding and fabricating. Plus, they've got service for industrial clients. Look them up at mmillwriting.com. GForceTV.com. Supreme Sim Racing featured lineup coming up next for tonight's A Main. Supreme Sim Racing is an international sim racing team made up of talented sim racers from around the world. Are you Supreme? And are you looking to join an easygoing and fun sim racing team? Well, then look no further than Supreme Sim Racing. Supreme Sim Racing, nobody does it like Team Supreme. They bring us tonight's starting lineup for 30 laps at the Williams Grove Speedway. Here is your starting lineup. On the pole out of Rochester, Minnesota, driving the Bandy built number 57, it's Jesse Bandy. And next to him, piloting car number 414, it's Brennan Lacey.
It's going to be Aiden Young to the inside of row 2 in car 69, and to his outside, the 03 of Sean Bowers.
Third row inside, it's Maxim Langevin, that's 161. Corey Kusler in the 126 lines up outside row number 3.
Steven Goldner in car 30 lines up from position number 7. To his outside, Blake Chapman in car 20.
We go to the 5th row. That's where the number 78 of Jack Clevenger lines up on the inside. And next to him, it's Preston Cranmer, the 07, starting 10th.
Ross Correnta in car 010 to the inside of row number 6. To his outside, Brian Moore Sr. in car 558.
We go to your 13th starter in row number 7. That's the number 24 of Kyle Moonen, the winningest driver so far this year on the series and current points leader, starts 13th. And going on the outside of the 7th row in car number 5, that's Donovan Ross.
It's going to be Scotty Edwards in position number 15, and to his outside, the 767 of Chase Hess.
We go to row number 9. It's your B-main winner, Jeff Fitzpatrick, in the number 90 inside. Outside, the 123 of Lane Snook.
The inside of row number 10 and the 13 is Keith Jackson. To his outside, the 51 of John Short.
We move now to row number 11. It's Ludovic Puisan in the number 72. And next to him, we'll have to keep an eye on these two drivers. It's Matthew Croakey, the number 2 for Phantom Motorsports.
Starting to the inside of your 12th and final row is Terry Landis in car 661, and to his outside, the 45 of Matt Ramsey.
Just about set to kick off your A&J Custom Creations A-Main here tonight for the Renegades, live from the Williams Grove Speedway. 30 laps. That is a lot of tight corners to navigate through with these high-powered 360 sprint cars. A&J Custom Creation specializes in laser engraving and CNC machining. Contact Andy Patton for your custom creation today. A&J Custom Creations ready to bring you tonight's A-Main. The field working towards the starting line. Jesse Bandy, Brennan Lacey in control, Scotty DeYoung. We're underway from the Williams Grove Speedway right now.
Green flag flies underway here at Williams Grove as we thunder into turn number 1, lean, mean, and green. Jesse Bandy out with the race lead, side by side for that race lead. Brennan Lacey's going to take the top spot now. Coming into turn number 3, Sean Bowers, Aiden Young, and Max Lingham in your top 5.
It gets wild just behind them. They're 3 wide. Nearly make. Oh, we've got trouble brewing here on the front straightaway. The number 20 of Blake Chapman into the front stretch wall. We stay green. They're all sorting it out down into turn number 1. I will not believe this is going to work. Yeah, they've come to a stop over there. Matthew Croakey was up on one of the tractor tires, and it was all sorts of ugly down there in turn number 1. And yeah, it started up way up in the field. Croakey was just trying to avoid it. He had fallen back, and then as he got down to turn number 1, there was nowhere to go. There was just a big, big mess of cars down there. So that brings out the caution here early on in this A&J Custom Creations A-Main.
Like I said, with these tight corners here, working with this many cars, carnage is going to happen. So you really got to make sure you're hitting your marks. But sometimes your mark, you could have another driver there that you don't know of because you don't know what other drivers are thinking. So really sure to have your head on a swivel and heads up driving.
Yeah, as best you can. Of course, we took a little bit of that peek at that carnage and Maxim Mills replay here tonight. Again, Maxim Mills bringing us those replays based out of Oakland, Ontario, Canada. The full-service mill writing contractor. They've got custom welding and fabricating, and, of course, all sorts of services for their industrial clients. Again, mmmillwriting.com for Malcolm Mills and our Malcolm Mills replays here tonight.
So Brennan
Right.
Lacey is going to be your race leader in car 414. Jesse Bandy is going to be in that second place spot. Sean Bowers, Aiden Young, and Stephen Goldner up to the 5th place position already in car number 30.
So they are all formed up behind the iRacing pace vehicle, and got to think, typically if you're a driver, if you're a little bit deeper in the field, you don't want to see the single file restarts. But I would think here at Williams Grove, I wouldn't mind that necessarily, because it just feels so tight all around you. You never, I don't know, maybe these drivers all feel different than me, but when I've been on this racetrack, you never feel 100% comfortable. You always feel like there's something going on around you. And I would think that these drivers wouldn't mind a good green flag run to kind of stretch out here a little bit.
Track, right, Sean?
What's that?
Even if you're the only one on the track.
Yes, absolutely. That is true. We are back to green and hustling down into turn number 1. Brandon Lacey, your race leader. Jesse Bandy in hot pursuit. Sean Bowers, not a great restart for the 0-3 machine. He's lost a little bit of distance. Here comes Steven Goldner. He's already gained 3 spots. Rim riding around Williams Grove. The number 30 would like to make it 2 in a row. Here he comes in the 4th spot after the 0-3 of Bowers.
Goldner changes the line now. Slide job coming, and it is completed. Here comes Bowers back to the inside, though. Meanwhile, in front of them, battle for the race leaders. We come into turn number 3.
Lacey on the bottom, Bandy right rear on the cush off of turn number 4. Bowers coming after Bandy. It is getting fast and furious up front, nearly 3 wide. Now it is 3 wide down there. The 30 of Goldner, the 0-3 of Bowers was in there. Jack Clevenger ripping into the top 5 as well with a bold move down in turn number 1, but off of 4, it's Brendan Lacey continuing to lead.
Lacey has no idea what is going on behind him as they are beating and banging. Put her 3 wide through the corners. You see Goldner up on top of the cushion and putting the right rear over the cushion. Here comes Bandy, gets by Goldner. Second place running Sean Bowers trying to stay up top here as we go on to the nose of Goldner in car number 30.
So Stephen Goldner right now running in 5th. He's got Jesse Bandy just to his inside work, and that cushion is that number 30 machine. Here comes Kyle Moonen trying to get into the top 5. He started in the 13th spot and now into the 5th position as he works to the outside of Jesse Bandy, the 24, your points leader in the top 5.
On 8 positions already in car 24 and looking for more. Jesse Bandy battling with a 57 car now out in front. Still Brennan Lacey, your race leader in car 414.
As Bandy and Moon in battle for the position, Ross Carrenta has reeled them in, and he's trying to gain a position. In fact, he will do so, the 10 machine, by the 57 of Jesse Bandy. So Ross Carrenta now in 6th, and he's got momentum coming after Kyle Moonen down the long back straightaway. They'll cross under the bridge, and we've got trouble. One of your front runners wrecked getting into turn number 3. It was Stephen Goldner in the number 30. We go under the yellow, and Stephen Goldner, something happened to him at the end of the back straightaway. I'm going to see if I can find it here, exactly what happened, and take a peek on my screen. He just clipped the outside of the wall just past the entrance. So, oh, Scotty, this is something I didn't even think to talk about, but it's one of the things at Williams Grove. Right before the bridge on the back straightaway, there's an entrance and an exit on the top wall, and that is exactly where the number 30 car clipped it. And after that, it was done. That car is Junked.
Out singing Rocket Man from John Elton as he went up in the air, and you see him going back to the pit area right now to use a quick fix. And yes, there is a quick fix. As looking at the replay here on Malcolm Mills replay, yeah, just clipped that entrance. And Rocket Man, he did up in the air and over, but he's got the quick fix and he's back out on the track.
He will not have another quick fix in his pocket, though, if he gets tangled up in any mishaps here with 22 laps to go in this A&J Custom Creations A main. So that shakes things up a little bit up front. Brennan Lacey continues to lead, but now Sean Bowers in 2nd. Jack Clevenger is restarting in 3rd in that number 78. He started 9th on the grid. From 13th up to 4th is Kyle Moonen in the 24, and from 11th up to 5th, Ross Carenta in the 10. So plenty of moving and shaking here early in this feature event. We've still got 2/3 of it to go, a dash more than that. And right now, though, Brennan Lacey looking so strong out front in that number 4 machine, and he's had a couple challenges, but he's been able to fend them off so far. So a good look here for the Powerhouse Motorsports Vanderbilt race cars, Zeep Speed 414. So they'll work themselves off of turn number 4. We'll have 21 green flag laps to go. The pace truck is on the infield, and Scotty DeYoung, we are back to green here at Williams Grove.
Great restart by the 414 of Brennan Lacey. Sean Bowers going upstairs and through the middle. Is going to be the 78 of Clevenger, but here comes Kyle Moonen in the 24 car. Moonen up 9 positions already here in this A feature.
Jack Clevenger has found the bottom line to his liking. That 78 car challenging for position number 2 as Bowers puts the right rear next to the wall. Not a great drive through 1 and 2 that time for Clevenger. We'll have to see what he can do down here in turn number 3 as Kyle Moonen chases him down. Through the middle they go. That's right in front of Moonen. Still challenging for second, but it belongs to the 03 of Bowers with his sights on Brennan Lacey.
Bowers still top shelf racing as you see Moonen going back down to the bottom now, trying to get to the inside of Clevenger. Cannot do so. Lacey still has no idea what is going on behind him as we are on board with Carenta right now. Looking forward, you see Kyle Moonen trying to make a move as we got a battle for the race lead, looks like, Sean.
We do. Sean Bowers had the lead getting into turn number 1. Lacey goes to the bottom. He'll reclaim it off of turn number 2. Brennan Lacey, your leader, but Sean Bowers is there. Can he do anything with him getting into turn 3? Lacey goes to the bottom. Bowers up to the top, building the momentum and charging after him down the front straightaway. It's Lacey leading now with 17 to go.
Clevenger into the mix as well too, through the middle, bringing Kyle Moonen along with him in car 24. Lacey still has the race lead, but for how long? Here comes Moonen, slide job, and Carenta in there in the 010 as well.
Brennan Lacey, good lap after losing that lead, but now as we say that, they were chasing him down, and the yellow flag flies. Yellow back out over the speedway here in tonight's A&J Custom Creations A main. I believe we had trouble for Brian Moore Sr. popping up on my screen here. We'll have to see if we can figure out what happened to that driver to cause the caution. Not exactly seeing it yet. Maybe we had a debris yellow. Maybe there was debris out there on the racetrack.
Yes, that French racer Jacques Debris possibly making an appearance.
That could be. Oh, no, I found it. Oh, yeah, there was an issue. It wasn't debris. Brian Moore Sr., the 558, and the 2 of Matthew Croakey had tangled on the back straightaway and spun around. That's what brought out the caution. They each did a 360. So that's why we go under the yellow here in tonight's A&J Custom Creations A main.
Oh, the irony. The irony indeed. Still, though, Brennan Lacey out with a race lead in car 414. Let's talk about this top 5, though, Sean. Putting on some great racing action, slide job for slide job, battling for a position. These top 5 definitely putting a show on for the fans tonight.
You know, I don't know what it was that Brennan Lacey maybe had a misstep off of turn number 4 that allowed Sean Bowers to get such a good run on him and take that lead getting into turn number 1 here, a handful of laps to go. Lacey then really got back up on the wheel, got back to the lead, but the 03 of Bowers, he's been right there challenging. And then that whole time that's going on, Jack Clevenger still right there in the hunt. Kyle Moonen right there in the hunt in the 24. We've still just shy of the halfway point here, Scotty. So this track continues to change. They're burning fuel off, so the profile of the handling of these race cars still going to change significantly before we see the checkered flag. So this race far from over. We'll have to see who's set up for the final stage of tonight's A&J Custom Creations A main. Here's your restart. We'll have 16 green flag laps to go when they go by the flag stand.
And just under halfway here is Lacey with a great restart. Bowers upstairs, tuck tail behind him. Clevenger running through the middle. Kyle Moonen did not get the restart that he needed. And here comes Carenta in car 010. Lacey still out with the race lead. Bowers up on the top side.
Jack Clevenger with a good move there down the front straightaway. Move the 78 up to second, and does he have anything for the leader? He'll shut the door on the 0-3 of Sean Bowers at the exit of turn number 2. Down into turn number 3 we go. A little bobble from Bowers. He loses a little bit of ground to Clevenger, but it is a nice half-second lead right now for the 414 of Brennan Lacey.
3 wide right behind them, and look who's running in 6th, up 4 position. Preston Kramer in the 07 coming into the action now. Really great battles halfway through this race here, Sean. It's going to be anybody's guess who's going to be visiting victory lane here tonight.
Great race right now for third between Sean Bowers and Kyle Moonen. Bowers, the 0-3 on the bottom, the 24 of Moonen. He'll go up the racetrack with the momentum. Moonen right now runs third after starting 13th. Out front, getting a little bit closer there between Brennan Lacey and Jack Clevenger for the lead as well. And now 3 cars racing for third off of turn number 4.
Great turn time by as he's using the middle to the bottom of the racetrack to his advantage. Lacey up top in turns 1 and 2. He will carry the momentum down the back straightaway now into 3 and 4. And it's going to be Lacey down to the bottom and Clevenger up top, switching lines, carrying the momentum off the corner. And still not the run that the 78 car needed.
It is getting closer and closer, though, as Clevenger to the inside of Lacey in 1 and 2. Lacey with the drive off the top of that second turn. Down to turn 3 we go. Lacey to the bottom. Clevenger through the middle. He'll slide up, and at the exit of the corner, he'll grab the moisture on the top next to the wall. Down the front straightaway we go. 10 laps remaining here at Williams Grove for the GeForce Racing League Renegades, and it's still Brennan Lacey with a slim lead down the back chute.
As you look behind them with Moonen and Carenta as the caution comes out just as I speak. Those 2 cars were putting on a whale of a battle for that 3rd and 4th place spot.
That does bring out another caution flag in tonight's A&J Custom Creations Renegades feature event. And we will have less than 10 laps remaining when we go back to the green. Trying to see if I can get any kind of report of what may have happened there. I don't believe I'm seeing anything what may have caused the caution. But you know, Scotty, I've got a. Oh, there's the trouble. I found it. Jesse Bandy and Jeff Fitzpatrick tangled on the back straightaway, and that is what put us under the caution. And Jesse Bandy and Jeff Fitzpatrick, well, teammates. Fitzpatrick, he just took one of those rides to the moon like we saw earlier in tonight's show. So the 90 machine, if he can get it to the pits, going to have to tow down there and then get a quick repair to get back on the track because that car torn up from the floor up. I've started to say, Scotty, I've got to color myself and admit when I'm wrong. I was wrong. I did not expect this quality of racing off of this racetrack here tonight. These drivers with the Renegades putting on a great show in the front of the field here. Color me surprised. This track is so difficult, and I have never made a good lap around this racetrack as an iRacer, and it is such a technical racetrack. But these drivers out front, man, they're worth the price of admission and then a whole lot more.
And look at the way the track has broken down, though, Sean. I mean, we pointed out that the front and back stretches could really slick off. They really seem to haven't. So these drivers carrying that momentum into the corners. The cushion has been a great place to run for some of these guys, as well as the middle and the bottom side. So once again, here in the Renegades, 3 different lines being used, and the top 5 just putting on a phenomenal show here for the race fans out front.
I think you're absolutely right there, Scotty. The best point you made right there is 3 different lines: bottom, middle, top, and then some variants of that, some sliders, some diamond cuts as well. We've seen it all, and we've still got just shy of a third of this feature event to go. Can Brennan Lacey hold on? We begin to find out right now. Great restart for the driver out front, but Jack Clevenger, he'll look to his inside, and here comes the 0-3 of Bowers. 3 cars racing for the lead off of turn number 2. Advantage Lacey down the back chute.
In turn number 3, they come. Lacey diving back down to the bottom. Clevenger up top. Yellow coming out. By the way, Sean, I just want to point out Keith Jackson in the 13 car, up 14 positions, currently sits in that 5th place spot, and he had to come out of the consolation feature.
Oh my, that is a big run for that driver in the 13. We saw him have some bad luck in his heat race. None of his own doing, just things got a little tight, and that 13 car got turned around, and Good catch there, Scotty. The Rudine Racing number 13 Devo Transport entry really charging through the field, and really he's got a good run going, salvaging a great run here tonight here at Williams Grove for that 13.
That he is. So congrats to the driver of the 13 car, up 13 positions. They say 13 is an unlucky number, but luck must be on his side tonight.
It may very well be. You had an interesting number in racing, S2H.
Yes.
Every driver's got a story behind that. We know your story. Scotty Too Hottie, S2H for your race car number. Always liked that one, Scotty.
You can thank Joel Viss from Rapid Speedway for that. So he said, Scotty Too Hottie driving the 58 doesn't roll off the tongue as Scotty Too Hottie driving the S2H does.
That's how that got changed. All right.
Yep.
All right. I got you. Jack Clevenger restarting second here tonight. He's got 4 career wins with the GeForce Racing Leagues. 57 times he has been in the top 10 in his 92 career starts with the GeForce Racing Leagues. We'll have to see if that 78 has anything for the driver who's been out front for the lion's share of this one. That's Brennan Lacey in the 414.
Looks like they might have gotten the lineup straight now, as it's telling us 1 lap to green. And man, just in these final laps here, Sean, what do you what's your prediction here for the outcome of this feature?
Well, I think it's going to get wild. There are so many lines you can't block right now. If you can hook up somewhere and get a run, it's going to pay big dividends. Right now, Brendan Lacey, he's got to be all on his game as he brings us back to the green, and we thunder off to turn number 1. Lacey, Clevenger, Bowers, 3 different lines for the top 3. 3 wide for the race lead off of turn number 2. Lacey with the momentum. He'll continue to lead. Clevenger in second, Bowers in third. They'll all change lines when we hit turn number 3. Clevenger going to the top, going to try to let it rip.
And here comes Carenta and Moonen at the same time. And Lacey shuts the door on Clevenger. Clevenger diving down to the bottom. Slide job coming. Lacey almost into the wall. Still retains lead. Here comes Bowers down to the inside.
Clevenger was unable to clear him on that slide job, left just enough room. That is a sportsmanship thing to do, but it cost him all sorts of time. 6 laps to go. Does he have enough time to chase down Brennan Lacey and get by Sean Bowers? Meanwhile, Bowers challenging for the lead, running that bottom. Side by side for second. Clevenger, Bowers, wheel to wheel into turn number 3.
Clevenger goes upstairs. Bauer still on the bottom side of the racetrack. So is Lacey with a race lead. Kyle Moonen and Carnetta is all they can do as they watch in front of them. Lacey still with that race lead in 4:14. Clevenger, Bowers seem to be off the pace a little bit. Gathers it back up, shuffled back to that 3rd place spot.
Clevenger needs to erase 7/10 of a second interval to get out to the race leader of Brennan Lacey. As we say that, Sean Bowers, better run through 3 and 4, was able to get to the 2nd spot. Now Clevenger bangs the wall down there in turn number 1. So the 78 machine fading here in the last handful of laps. Brennan Lacey in control in the 414 off of turn number 4. We've got 3 laps to go.
3 laps to go, and the caution comes out. Caution coming out with 3 laps to go. Not what Brennan Lacey wanted to see, as they are going to bunch him back up here for 1 more restart.
Oh, that is exactly what Clevenger wanted to see. The cause of the caution was, I believe, the 5. Yes, the 5 of Donovan Ross with a little trouble into turn number 3. And he got the Devo Transport number 5 upside down over there in the 3rd turn to put us under the yellow. Oh, boy, Scotty. You can only imagine what's going on inside the cockpit of that number 414 right now of Brennan Lacey. He had such a lead. He was able to sneak away from Bowers. Clevenger had banged the wall and faded back over a second. And now here they are right there on his rear push bumper for a dash to the finish.
Earlier on in this feature race, he had no idea what was going on behind him, and then these other cars have caught up to him now, and now he's doing everything he can to fight to keep that race lead. As you mentioned, Sean, a dash to the finish with just 3 laps to go once the green flag waves.
I've got to tip my cap. I don't know where Jack Clevenger's going to finish in this race, but he didn't have to be the sportsman and the good driver that he was over there when he threw that slider. He could have slid up and cleaned out Brennan Lacey and probably driven off with the race lead, but he did it the right way. I don't know where he's going to finish in this one, but that is real testament to the quality of drivers and sportsmanship that you see in these G-Force racing leagues, with the incident rating that they use to determine where you sit and what league you go to. But Jack Clevenger, going for the race lead, still did the right thing. That was unbelievable. That was fantastic to see.
A very, very good class act by the driver of the 78 car. So hats off to Clevenger. And yes, very, very well done and a great show being put on.
Brennan Lacey just sneaking around his outside. Oh, that was the moment of the race so far. That was a big deal down there in turn number 2. Speaking of big deal, last couple laps of green flag action. Green, white, checkered a dash to the finish at Williams Grove. Can Brennan Lacey hold on? We find out as we rush down to turn number 1.
As Lacey up top, Clevenger up top 2, Bowers on the bottom. Looked like Lacey had just bobbled a little bit off turn number 2, down the backstretch into turn number 3.
Down on the bottom, Brennan Lacey. He's got just over a half mile to go. Long straightaway under the white flag into turn number 1. Brennan Lacey, Sean Bowers, Jack Clevenger continue to run. 1, 2, 3. Lacey, perfection through 1 and 2. Under the bridge for the final time into turn number 3. Brennan Lacey in the 4-1-4. Going to get a last-minute challenge from Sean Bowers, but Lacey wins the G-Force League's Renegades at Williams Grove. Sean Bowers second, Jack Clevenger third, Ross Carrenta will go fourth, and Kyle Moonen, your points leader, rounds out the top 5.
What a race here tonight, Sean, from Williams Grove Speedway, and hats off to these drivers putting on a fantastic show for the race fans here tonight.
Absolutely. And again, color me wrong, color me tickled pink. What a show we just witnessed for these A&J Custom Creations Renegades here tonight. With the G-Force Racing League's unbelievable show. Let's run down your unofficial finish here tonight for the Renegades as we put Williams Grove into the books. Take a look at the results here, Scotty. Brennan Lacey's going to pick up at that win here this evening in the 4-1-4, finishing in the second position. The 0-3 of Sean Bowers. Jack Clevenger completing our podium here this evening. Ross Carrenta was in 4th, and Kyle Moonen goes 5th after starting 13th on the grid.
And I believe Keith Jackson is our 2Ws Plumbing hard charger tonight. Looks like he finished in 6th, picking up 13 positions. So he will be our 2Ws Plumbing hard charger recipient here tonight.
So Keith Jackson 6th, Preston Cranmer 7th, Aiden Young was 8th, Corey Kusler 9th, Jesse Bandy completing your top 10. Blake Chapman was 11th, Matthew Croakey out of the Constellation will finish in 12th here tonight. He gained 10 spots. John Short was 13th. He gained 7 spots. Max Langevin at 14th. Lane Stook finishes 15th. Scotty Edwards was 16th. Matt Ramsey 17th. Terry Landis 18th. Brian Moore Sr. 19th and 20th to Jeff Fitzpatrick. Stephen Goldner was 21st. Donovan Ross 22nd. Chase Hess 23rd. And Ludovic Buisson 24th. Here tonight. Again, a big congratulations to all of our drivers going to the Epsilon Sprint Wraps victory lane here tonight. Our podium finishers, we'll hear from them in a moment. Epsilon Sprint Wraps victory lane brought to us by Epsilon Sprint Wraps. If you're looking to stand out from the competition, Epsilon Sprint Wraps creates tailor-made graphics and logos to fit your personal taste. With a focus on the realistic design, you'll look like you drove right off your local dirt track and into iRacing. Champions choose Epsilon Sprint Wraps. Big run here tonight for Keith Jackson. We'll try and get a word with him here coming up in just a couple of moments. But first, let's go see if we can catch up with Jack Clevenger down here in the Epsilon Sprint Wraps victory lane. Jack, big run here tonight for that number 78 machine. 3 wide racing for the lead. That had to be fun from your seat tonight in that 78 car.
That was a blast. Trying to get by those guys was a little tougher than I anticipated. So good run by those guys. It was clean and that was fun.
All right, we've got to talk about a big moment in this race. You threw a slide job in 1 and 2 on Lacey, looking for the race lead, it looked like you could have slid up and maybe cleaned out Lacey and fed him a little bit of a right rear and sailed off with the race lead. You didn't go all the way up to the cushion. You left him enough room to get around the outside. Take us through that decision.
Well, I thought I had a little bit better run getting in the one there, and I knew I was clear, but I kind of tiptoed my way up the racetrack there. I think if I'd have just drove it up, but I hadn't been running up there, so I didn't know what the curb was like, if it would stick if I slid it all the way up into the curb hard. So, and I could hear him out. Not going to take him out for the win.
Yeah, there are a lot of places you can go watch an iRace, and somebody may, in even real races, somebody would have made a much different decision to just slide up there and to heck with the consequences. But you did a really nice job. That, to me, really stood out in tonight's event and really kind of makes you stand out in the iRacing platform that you would do the right thing in that situation.
Me and Brendan used to be teammates, and the Vanderbilt guys are a tough bunch of guys, and I'd like to beat them, but I don't want to beat them that way.
Let's go back here. The last couple laps, you had banged the wall. You had fallen back a little bit. You get a restart with 2 laps to go. What was the game plan there coming to that green flag?
Hold on. In the middle of the race, I was really good, and it was hard to pass, and it just got harder and harder to pass, and I just that second to last restart where I threw that slider was my one shot, and obviously that didn't work out.
Who do you need to thank for the good podium run here tonight?
Thanks Scotty and the boys at SRC, Rudine, Devo, and Keith, and all those guys that put in the time to give us good cars. And yeah, Scott spends hours and hours making sure we're fast, so I appreciate that a lot.
All right, Jack Clevenger, 3rd place run here tonight. Congratulations. Let's go over now. Scotty DeYoung catching up with our runner-up here this evening at Williams Grove. That's Sean Bowers. Scotty?
John, this race was really tight in the corners and seemed to have a lot of momentum on the straightaways. What was it like racing up front there with Lacey and Clevenger, and even racing 3 wide for a lead at sometimes?
Oh man, it was fun, dude. That's what makes this league awesome. These guys, you can put it in there 3 wide, all out, and everybody's gonna hold their line. Man, it was fun.
We saw multiple drivers, including yourself, changing lines throughout the race. How did the track break down, and what lines seemed to be faster for you tonight?
I feel like at the first half of that feature there, I was railing right around the top there, and then at the end there, it kind of faded away for my liking, and so I duck it there to the bottom. And I feel like in 3 and 4, I found my rhythm there in 3 and 4. I feel like a couple more laps for those cautions there at the end, we could have at least had a little bit better of a battle.
That dash to the finish there, what was the expectation coming to that green flag?
At that point, I was just hoping that Brennan would mess up, and I'd just be there to capitalize.
Who would you like to thank for putting this on the podium tonight in the runner-up spot?
I got to thank all my guys over there at the Fur Motorsports, Apex Auto Glass and Tinting, Butt Kicker, Mazin's Transport, 21 Designs, Fine Line Designs, Justin Sick Photography, Siebers Race Media, and of course Ryko for the killer setups.
Once again, Sean Bowers coming home in your runner-up spot tonight. Congratulations and good luck next week.
Yes, sir.
We're going to go back to Sean Neisted now, who is going to be standing by, I believe, with Brennan Lacey, our feature winner here tonight. Sean?
Brennan Lacey driving that 414 to perfection here this evening. Brennan, congratulations on the win. I don't know about you, but I would guess you're a little bit wore out after 30 hard-fought laps here around Williams Grove.
Yeah, Williams Grove ain't my best track by no means. Mainly I'm trying to set it up to just run bottom, and well, the way the track is now, they only do 3 minutes instead of 5 minutes on the warm-up to save the track. So I kept hearing, I think it was Sean or Jack, one of the two were back behind me, and I kept hearing them to my outside going into 1, and I could hear him outside of me out of 4. So I knew I was good on the bottom of 3 and 4, but 1 and 2 had to change something. Once I found the top, I was able to set the pace I wanted and never look back from there.
There was a really big moment, and we've already talked with Clevenger about it. The 78 car threw a big slider on you over there in turn number 2 and left just enough room to get for you to get it back around the outside without any contact. Take us through that moment from your seat.
Yeah, I knew restarting. I knew they were coming. If I would have went to the top of 1 and 2, I knew that somebody's going to pass me. It was just time happening. So, like I said, I'm mainly used to the bottom here. I like to run the bottom because I feel like I'm a lot more smoother down there. But I went in there and I thought something was going to come, so I tried to short slide it. And then once he was coming, I kept my foot in it. I was driving around it. I was either going to hop a right rear or I was going to drive around it. I mean, that's just full send from there. I mean, you couldn't go anywhere else.
Is that a byproduct of just how tight and difficult this track is? What it was like with you top three, really running real close like that?
Yeah, this track tonight, I actually liked it because it was two groove. I mean, I've never been able to run this track top one end, bottom one end, and I think a lot of it too is actually racing in real life, the instincts. I know what I would do in that instance and trust my car that would actually get tore up, cost a lot of money if it got wrecked, but I'd still trust it in the same interest as I would right there in the game.
You know, I like guys that do have real world experience out there because they know the pain and they know the pocketbook hit every time that there is contact out there on the racetrack. So, very good point on that as well. Who do you need to thank for the strong run here tonight, putting that 414 up there in victory lane?
Oh, big thanks goes out to Bandy Built Race Cars. Jesse, Brandon, and Fitzy really put in some work and had the sets dialed in. This is actually my first ever win in the Renegades, so it's pretty proud of that. And just got to thank Steven Goldner and JP and Kyle Moon and all them, and just got to give a shout out to Moonin and tell him I did it because he didn't think I could beat him tonight, but I pulled it off. So hopefully I can rub that in a little bit back at base camp.
I think you've earned the right to do that. Moonin, though, good run for him, gaining 8 spots to finish in 5th, but they were all chasing you tonight. Congratulations, Brendan Lacey, on your first win here with the Renegades.
Thanks, sir.
Brendan Lacey, your winner here tonight, drove that 414, led almost every single circuit of tonight's 30-lapper here at the Williams Grove Speedway. Quote of the night, Scotty. Quote of the night, Sean Bowers. Oh, man, it was fun, dude. That's the quote of the night. That summarizes this race here at Williams Grove.
I don't think I could have said it any better myself. Great racing here tonight with the Renegades, and such a tough track with the tight corners and long straights, but these guys pulled it off, and great racing between the top 5 up front.
Again, congratulations, Keith Jackson, your 2Ws Plumbing Hard Charger Award recipient. And congratulations, Jack Clevenger, Sean Bowers, and your feature winner, Brendan Lacey. They all go to the Epsilon Sprint Wraps victory lane here tonight. All right, Scotty, so we've done the long straightaways, tight corners. Time to change it up next week. We head to Eldora. Short straightaways, big sweeping corners. It'll be a completely different event next Monday night at this time with these Renegades.
Bring on the dream. That's all I got to say.
I love it. That was going to put a wrap on tonight's program for the A&J Custom Creations Renegades here on GForce TV. For Scotty DeYoung, my announcing co-partner.